Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
So here you can see this is my first slide, and this is a proper development about the Salesforce, right?
Yeah.
So let me add something
Add
here
something here.
like that, and you can see Force.com platform. You know very well these
Yes,
all things, right?
yes, yes.
We already discussed about these things. So let me move next slide. This is also PaaS like platform, Force.com as a services like platform as a services. So we can customize our application with the help of this Force.com platform, right?
Yeah.
And this is the some most important points to learn about the Force.com platform. Like we can customize with existing application, or we can leverage extend the application features by adding additional enhancement, and develop the custom application like banking, financial, insurance, healthcare, pharma, manufacturing, and consulting. Okay, so these all application we can develop with the help of Force.com platform, right? Then we can
Yes.
integrate the Salesforce application with external system. So this is for integration purpose. So we can integrate the Salesforce application with external system with the help of Force.com platform. Okay. So these all
Okay.
about the PaaS. So this is the overview about the mm, some introduction about the development. So here you can see all the things. So we have type of customization, right? So how to customize your application? So there are two types of customization, like declarative customization that is called without coding. Okay, so without coding we can do our customization things, right? Like no need to have any technical skills in this declarative customization, right? Like workflow, process builder, and flow builder, these all comes under the declarative tool, right? And
Yes.
easy to implement because no need worry about any code, so it's easy to learn or easy to implement, right?
Okay.
Then each features will be implemented by using mouse and clicks tool. Here you can see, right? It's a mouse and click tool, and it will save the time because of no need worry about any coding skills, so it's saving our time. So that's why it's increase the budget as well. Here you can see save the budget. Okay,
Okay.
so this is
Okay.
the benefit of declarative programming. Now come to the programmatic or customization with coding. This is without coding, and this is with coding. That is called Force.com platform, right? What is the
Yes.
benefit of Force.com platform? You can see like we can implement complex functionality. Like we have some requirement that is not possible using declarative tool. We can move on the Apex class or Apex programming, and we can build our complex functionality, right?
Okay.
And we
Okay.
can design the customized user interface with attractive look and feel. Here you can see
Okay.
we can implement the complex business logic based on the application requirement. So we can implement the custom logic as well under our application requirement like that. So here you can see Force.com programming language, right? These all. So we have two types of programming language under the this Force.com platform, right? Like two programming language, like Apex programming language and Visual Force programming language. Okay, so Apex basically used for custom business logic. Okay, if you want to write some custom business logic, so always go to this Apex programming language. Okay, and Visual Force programming language means Visual Force is a web development framework to use to design the attractive dynamic user interfaces with rich and look feel wise. Here you can see. Okay, this Visual Force page basically used for look and feel. Okay, like some designing part or something, like if you want to declare or if you want to create some form and apply some CSS, so you can use this Visual Force page programming look and feel purpose, right? So is it clear for you, right? Force.com programming language.
Okay. Yes, I understood.
Okay, and here you can see, you know very well these all things like Apex programming we already discussed, but let me show you again because it's a real quick class. And here you can see like Apex is a cloud based programming language which does not have any requirement or any installation. Okay, Apex is a object oriented programming language that is called OOPS, where each business logic we can available in the class and object format. So we can write our code with the help of class and this object, this one, right?
Okay.
Through the Apex programming, we can implement complex validation, complex business logic, complex transaction flows. By using Apex programming, we can implement the custom business logic. Apex is not a case sensitive. We already know about that. We can write our code by using character case, using any character like uppercase, lowercase, Pascal case, and camel case, kebab case, like that. There are so many cases in programming, right? Then we can move, like Apex is a tightly integrated with Salesforce object. Yeah, definitely. If you want to perform some DML operation like insert, update, delete, so you can easily update the record, delete the record, and insert the record with using some SQL query as well, some standard object in Salesforce. Okay, by using Apex programming, we can fetch the record from one or more object with the help of the query language that is called SQL. There are two types of data language, database language, that is called SQL or SOSL. This is for query the object. This is for searching the object, right? Like Salesforce object search language. Okay, so let me click the next slide, and here you can see by using Apex programming, we can process millions of record with the help of batch programming or schedule programming. Okay, this is the very most concept under the Apex programming. If you want to learn these all things like together, like batch and schedule. So in upcoming session, you can learn these things like how many types of batch you can run at a time, the batch size by default, the batch size like that. So you can schedule your job within 1 day, 7 days, 24 hours, or 1 year, or 6 months, or 1 month, like that. You can schedule your Apex class to run the specific time period, right? By using Apex programming, we can integrate the Salesforce application with external system. That is, we can use REST and SOAP. Okay, so API is nothing but application programming interface, and REST is nothing but representational state transfer. That is called REST HTTP protocol, something like that. Or SOAP is nothing but it's a XML format, or this is the like as a JSON format, JSON or XML as well. But SOAP always comes under the XML format, like simple object access protocol. So XML, I will show you XML. What is XML? It's a key value paired language. Okay. So each statement Apex programming should be end with semicolon. You know very well. If you want to write some code, like let me show you here, and just type here like integer a equal to 20. So always give this semicolon, right? If you write another integer like integer b equal to 30, so always give this semicolon. Okay, this one. This semicolon is very important for us because it's a line termination, right?
Okay.
Every time you have to write this one like semicolon, semicolon, every end line, right?
Okay.
Then yeah, so then we can move on the on this part, like here you can see note each Apex programming code will get the compile by using Apex compiler. Under the Apex programming, we have Apex compiler as well Apex runtime. There are some engines, or there are some Apex engine to execute your code, identify your code, verify your code, and successfully execute your code based on your compile runtime. Okay, each Apex class will be stored into the Apex object. If you want to write some Apex class, so you can find out under the Apex object. This is the standard object under the Salesforce. So you can query that object and you can fetch the all the information about the Apex class. Okay.
Okay.
Each Apex class code will be stored inside the file extension that is called .apxc, means Apex class. Always remember, this is the extension of the Apex class, right? .apxc. And each Apex trigger will be stored inside the file extension that is called .apxt, means Apex trigger. T means trigger, C means class, APX means Apex, right?
Okay.
Then here you can see, like, upon implementing the code, we no need to use any additional tool. So no need worry about any ID, external ID, like for Java, PHP, Python, and .NET. We have to install the particular ID. In Java, you have to install JDK, NetBeans, Eclipse, and come to the .NET. You have to install Visual Studio to write your code. Okay, so here no need worry about all the tools. Okay, you can
For Visual Studio, one doubt. In Visual Studio, we can write Apex class also in Visual Studio. Only
no.
LWC, or we can write even Apex and Lightning can be done there.
Yeah, let me explain. Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code are different. We can write our Apex class or LWC component with the help of Visual Studio Code, not Visual Studio. Both are
Okay,
different.
both are different. Okay. Visual Studio is for what?
.NET,
It is for .NET. Visual Studio Code is that is
common for
we
all.
use
Common for
common
all.
for. There we can write even Apex class also.
Yep. Yeah, we can write.
Okay.
Okay, we
Okay.
can write Apex class, LWC, or anything as you want under the VS Code, not Visual Studio.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Fine.
is it
Can
clear for
you?
you?
Sorry.
Is it clear for you?
Yes. 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 It's clear. Can you tell me those when you start coding section? Can you tell me in that Visual Studio Code?
Definitely after 10 to 15 lecture, I will show you how to access the Visual Studio Code and how to write the code with the help of Visual Studio Code in Salesforce, right? So don't worry about that because you are learner. So you have to learn first of all developer console and standard navigation, all the things. Without these things, you cannot do anything other ID.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So please be focused on in this slide as well, practice like in developer console, because
Yeah.
developer console is a very most important and powerful ID. Okay. So if you have some experience in Apex, so you can move the Visual Studio Code. Otherwise, you can work in this ID like developer console. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Because this time we have to learn something new. Okay, so I don't know and you don't know about the Visual Studio Code right now. For let's say I know very well everything. Okay, but for this time you don't know about these things, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So here you can see upon implementation the code, no need to use any additional tool. We can write our code, compile, save and execute, view the result inside the browser, because you know very well Apex is a cloud language and Salesforce always runs under the browser that is called internet. Okay, so we have to write because Salesforce is a cloud based application or cloud CRM, and cloud CRM or cloud application always runs with the help of internet and browser, you know very well, right?
Yes. Yes.
So we can run these all code under the browser. No need worry about any IDs, extra IDs, comparison to other programming. Okay. So you can write your own code under the browser. Okay. And here you can
Okay.
see like extension. So if you write some Apex class, the extension is .apxc. Here you can see, right? .apxc. Apex trigger, if you write some Apex trigger, that is called .apxt. If you write some visual force page, that is called .vfp, visual force page .vf. This is the extension, right? And here you can see like object extension is .obj. Here you can see. Is it clear for you?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because this is the your first time, so you can easily recognize with the help of extension what is this, what is this, and what is this, like that, right?
Yeah.
So based on extension, you can easily recognize these all things like .apc means Apex class, .apxt means Apex trigger, .vfp means Visual Force page, .obj means object, right?
Yeah.
Then if you want to send some data and if you want to log in with Salesforce org, so these all information is automatic fetch from the browser to Salesforce environment. Here you can see like form data, IP address, session ID, browser information, OS information, organization ID, user profile, and permission authorize Apex. So you can fetch this user ID with the help of this user profile. Like let's say I have one profile like system administrator, and under the system administrator, you can see the permission as author Apex. So this is the author for write the code. So these all information automatically came here once you are login with Salesforce, and you if you sending some data from sales from your site to Salesforce like that. Is it clear, or if you have any query?
No, it's clear.
Okay, fine. So let me do these things like Apex programming execution lifecycle, right? So please do focus this diagram because it's a very important for us. So first of all, you have to see this cloud that is called internet, right? These all. This is
Yes,
the
yes.
internet, right? This is you. Okay, let's say for example, this is you, and you have to write some code in your system, right? And if you write some code, it's a automatic compiled under the IDE, and it comes under the internet over the internet. And the Salesforce have some our application server as well, some database that is called metadata, and that code is comes here like application server, right? Then force.com platform compile the code and giving the data from metadata and compile the Apex code. Here you can see under the application server, you can see like Apex runtime. It's a the compiler code. It's a automatic execute here and give the result here. You can see the end user, right? It's based on request and response. Like let's say this is you and you send the some request in Apex runtime, and it's fetching the data from the metadata, and it's execute your compile code, and again you have to give the result here, right? So
Yes,
is it
yes.
clear for you?
Yeah, I'm clear.
Yeah. So this is the application programming life cycle. So all the Apex code runs under this application server and metadata and with this cloud. Okay. So this is the execution process of the Apex class or Apex code. We can say that, right? Then we will move like debug log files. So how to find these debug log files? So there are two ways to find debug logs with the help of some standard navigation or some developer consoles. So here you can see like setup, monitor, and logs. You can find out with the help of some standard navigation. So let me show you how to do that. This one, okay, like this one, and just close this. You can see developer training. I already created this org yesterday, right?
Yes,
In
yes.
front of you. So I just logged in that org here. You can see I successfully logged in this org. This is a Salesforce org. And let me go first this setup. This is the lightning experience. So I already told you I will teach you all the things under the lightning, not classic, right? Some of the feature is not available in lightning. So I will teach you with some features with the help of some classic as well, lightning. Okay.
Yeah.
So here you can see like quick find. So under this setup, the navigation is under this setup. You can see like monitor. So you have to search like monitor here. There are so many settings there like this one, and you have to search under the quick find like monitor. Okay. Once you search this monitor, okay. So here you can see like logs and debug logs. Okay, but monitoring environments, there are so many things available, but monitoring is not possible here in Lightning. In Classic, you can see this one, but you can find with the help of logs. Once you type these logs, you can see my
Debug.
environments, and under the environments you can see like logs. Under the logs you can see my debug logs, right? This one.
Yes.
Okay, so just click this debug logs here. Once you click this debug log, I will show you how to use this that. Okay, so just focus on that, how to navigate all the things so you can find out your debug log here, right? This is the default user because I already created this org, so that's why I'm showing here like my name. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me show you next slide, and you can find out these debug logs under the developer console as well. So how to navigate the developer console? This gear icon, this is the setup, right? And here you can see like developer console, right? So just click this one and it's open me a pop-up that is called developer console. So this is the very most powerful IDE, means integrated development environment. So you can do all code in a single place. Okay. So you can find with the action here you can see like logs. So there is a no logs because we did not write any code or any execution. So you cannot see any line of logs here, right? So till now you have any query, so you can ask me. Otherwise we can
No,
move
I
to the
don't
next.
have it.
All clear?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, fine. So let me click this data types in Apex. Okay, so we have two things before starting this data types. Like data type describe the below two things. The meaning of the data types. You can say, let's say like what types of data and the variable can hold. So this is the definition. Like which type of data you want to hold, like string data, integer data, boolean data, or anything as you want. So what type of data variable you can store? How much memory need to be get reserved to store the data, right? So always think to about these 2 points. If you are using any data type, so based on your selection, uh, the memory will be located. Otherwise, it's wasted your memory location, something like that. Okay. So here you can see we have two types of data type, like primitive data type or S of object data type. So primitive is nothing but there are fundamental data types, basic data type that is offered by the Apex programming. Okay. So for example, let's say integer. This is the primitive data type. Integer, double, long, decimal, boolean, date time, ID, string, blob, and object. Here you can see, right?
What is that blob? For what they use that blob?
Yeah, blob basically used for the image or binary file. If you want to store some documents, image, so you always use this blob data type. I will come that part. Okay, later. Okay, now clear?
Yeah, yeah, clear.
Yeah, blob is a data type that can be stored like image, document, or binary file.
Okay,
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 and come to the first data type, this one like integer. So allow us to store the numerical value without any decimal point. Always remember, integer
yeah,
always accept numerical value. Okay,
okay,
and each integer value will be occupy 4 bytes of the memory. It's taking 4 bytes of the memory space, right? Let's
yeah,
say it's the range like minus to the power 31 to plus to the power 31 minus 1. Here you can easily recognize with the help of some memory
Oh,
locations.
only it takes only 4 bytes. About then 4 bytes, it will not take any.
Yeah,
It will occupy
yeah.
it.
I will show you. I will show you this example and what is the use case and how to exceed it this limit. Okay. So
Okay,
here you can see like nodes, right? So each number
yes,
field, percentage field, currency field will be stored in the integer data type. So if you have some requirement like let's say I have some bank account, salary or currency, we can say that. So how to store that? So you can store with the help of integer, right?
Yes.
So this is all about the data type for the integer in Apex, right? So
Yeah.
let me explain the first data type with practical example. So let me open my developer console. So you can see this is the developer console, and let me open my Anonymous window. I will show you how to use it and what is this Anonymous window. So I already discussed about that. This is a temporary window, or you can write your code, you can test your code. If you are facing some errors or any bugs, so you can execute within the time. This is a temporary window, and you cannot save your code under this Anonymous window, right?
Yes.
Then let's say I have one integer, like integer a equal to 10, right? How to print that? This is the print
System
statement. I
dot
will show you.
debug.
Yeah, system.debug. Under this debug, you have to write your
A
variable. I will
variable.
show you this variable in our coming session. So just copy A and paste it here, right? And then you can see one button like execute, and check this button as well, like open log. Just execute, and after some time you can see my logs, right? So under the logs panel, you can see one logs is there. Okay. Once you
Debug one.
execute debug mode only, just check this one, and you can see like 10, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you can print your statement like that. And let me open again. Like I have another integer, like integer b equal to some value like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, something like that, right? And just copy this statement and paste it here, and change this a to b, right? And execute. Okay. So after some time you can see debug only here, and you can see my output, right? 10 and 1 2 3 4 5 6, say, right?
Yeah. Can you show me that where it does not occupy more than 4 bytes? How can you do that?
Yeah, yeah, like this one you can increase the size, and you can, let's say, you can see in legal integer, it's
Oh,
exceeding the limit. That's why it's not taking this limit like 4 byte. Okay.
okay. Okay.
If you have large amount of like this type of number, so you can use integer like double, or let's say double, yeah, like double or long, you can see.
Okay.
Okay, I will come that part in a few moments. So let's say like boolean, this is the another data type.
Yeah,
It's
it
allow
acts.
us.
1 second. 1 second. Can you go back? Just a
Mhm,
second. Back.
mhm.
No, no, no. That and that material you have opened.
This
Okay.
one.
Down, down. Each number field, percentage field, currency fields will
Mhm.
support the integer. Okay, fine.
Fine.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So here you can see like data type, another data type like boolean. So it's allow us to store the value either true and false. So if you have some value like that, like true and false, so you can store the data under the boolean, right?
Yeah.
This boolean. And note that here, like this is the note, each checkbox field will be support the boolean data type. Suppose that, let's say, let me show you, like this is the one checkbox. Suppose that this is the checkbox, and if you check this one, that is called true, and if you uncheck this one, that is false, like that.
Okay.
Okay, that is the
Okay.
meaning of this line. Okay, now here you can see, let me show you the boolean example as well. So just go back here, and let me show you another like boolean boolean, or this is for integer. This is a comment, single line comment. You can write your comment. So comment is nothing but it's ignoring the statement. Okay. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to print this this two line, so always give this comment like that, single line as well multi-line. I will show you in the upcoming session what is single line and multi-line. So you can give your comments here like that. So it's ignoring these code. It will be not print 10. Let me show you, just execute here. Okay, let me change this some value like that and execute. Yeah, so it's execute now. And click the debug only, and here you can see 1290765, but you cannot see the 10 value, right? It's code. So comments is nothing but it's a single line or multi-line. So this is the single line. I will show you upcoming session what is single line and multi-line. So this is for easy to understandable purpose. So I'm showing this one, right? Now it's come to the Boolean value. Let's say like Boolean is a data type. If you write some data type, so always use like Boolean, same like as an integer, right? So after that you have to write your Boolean value like is so, something like that is a true, and assign the value like that, right? Then you have to print this one like system.debug and print this is so here and just execute, and after some time you can see the output as a Boolean. Just copy debug the only, and here you can see my output. This one you can see this one true, right?
Yes.
Or Boolean value. And now string. We can store a collection of the character including special character. Note each string value should be get enclose this single quote. Each character the string will be occupy 1 byte of the memory. Like if you want to store your name, so you can store with the help of single quote Ram Kumar or Prasanna and Rohit Kumar, something like that. You can store these all things like that, like Hyderabad city, Delhi city, Noida city, and Bangalore city, Chennai city. So all comes under the string in a single quote, right?
Yeah.
And male, female, you can store single city. And here you can see like note each text field, text area long text, each area pick list multi select, URL, geolocation, phone, email, auto number. You can store with the help of string. These all data type you can store under the string. Is it clear for you?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, and come to the this one. You can apply number field only, the percentage field, currency field only integer, but
Just a
all the
second.
things.
One
Sorry.
second. Just a minute. In string we use only single quotations, single quote,
Yep.
but we can't use double quote, right?
Yep. Because Apex doesn't support any double quote.
Okay.
If you want to show some double quote, so you have to use escape sequence. This is the another concept.
What we have to use? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, can you
Hello?
hear me? I
Yeah,
can
I
hear
can hear
you.
you. Okay.
Yeah, you were saying
So,
something right. If you want to use that double quote, what should be something you were saying?
yeah, that is called escape sequence.
Okay.
Got it? If you want to
Yeah.
show some double quote, so always use escape sequence, special type of characters.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I will
Okay.
come to that part in upcoming session. Don't worry about that. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
fine. Then here you can see this string. So let's say I will show you this example as well, like string example. So just if you want to expand this screen here to here, so always here you can see drag and drop like that, right? This one,
Yeah.
and here you can see this small top down arrow, top arrow. Just click this one, and you can see the zoom arrow, zoom window, right?
Okay.
So let's cut this one and paste it here. Yeah. So just you can see another things like string data type, right? So under the string data type, which type of data you can store? Like you have to write some string and let's say name. So my name is Rohit, something like that. Like Rohit Kumar, something like that. So you can store name into the string data type. This is data type, right? And this is the
Yes.
variable. I will show you what is variable in upcoming session, so don't worry about that. So just how to print that, like system.debug, and you have to write your name here, this one, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and just execute this one, and you can see the output here, like just debug only, and you can see my name here. You can see,
Okay.
right?
Yes. Yes.
And these all 6, 11, 16 means line. This is 6 line, this is 11 line, this is 16 line, the
Oh,
output.
okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
let's say another things like I want to print some hello word, a greeting word. So how to do that? So first of all, you have to define your string greeting equal to hello word. Okay, like that. And if you want to print this one, so system.debug and just greeting here your variable name and just execute. Okay, and now you can see after some time like that, and you can see my hello world in line number 19,
Okay.
right?
Yes. Yes.
You can observe here like 19 means this line, these all line, these all line, and that is printed on that output. Like line number 19, you can easily understand, oh, this is the output in line number 19. How to check that? You can see here like 19, right? And how to check that this 16 line? You can here you can see like 16 line, this one, right?
Mm.
So this is another trick to find your output with line number. Okay. So is it clear for you all now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Come to the another example, like let's say if you want to store some another things, so you can store, otherwise you can use string data type for all examples. So try yourself with these all example, like your name, some city name, something like that. Okay,
Okay.
so
Okay.
let me move next slide, and here you can see like ID. Okay, so ID is a special type of data type. You can see will store the record ID, either 15 digits or 18 characters, like 15 characters or 18 characters. ID store the this type of data, right? So here you can see like note. Each ID field lookup relationship, master relationship, hierarchy relationship, external lookup relationship. You know very well in admin part, right? These all things.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, field will be support the ID data type. You can see like ID data type, these all
Okay.
fields.
Okay.
Okay, so how to use that, the ID data type? So just let me go here. Okay, like that, and you can see like ID data types, data type, not types. Okay, and you have to write your ID. Okay, like ID is equal to some ID, some manually ID characters or something like that, right? Like that, 0 T R C E, something like that. Q. This is the ID. Is say 15 or maybe 18, something like that. How to print that? Like system.debug and just remove this single quote and use this IDs. Just copy this and paste it here and execute this one. So here you can invalid ID. So this ID is not accepted right now because it's a manually entered. Okay, so how to get this one? So always use Salesforce like
And
application.
records. Yeah. And record where we get there we get an ID. We used to use that ID only, right?
Yep,
When
yep,
we
yep.
click one record, there will be an ID at the top.
Yep. Once you open this one, like all accounts, here you can see all accounts. Just click this one, and under the URL you can see the record ID. This one, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah.
Just copy this one and paste it here, and just go ahead and click the execute. And now it's time no error. And now you can see under the debug log, you can see the ID. This 15 or 18 digit here you can see
Okay.
18 digit.
Okay. Okay.
Right? And another things, let me show you. If you want to show this output in another window, so just double click on the particular line. Here you can see the output in a new window. This is the another new window. You can see this one.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay, okay.
If you want to show in a new window, just click the double click here and you can see the output. This is the another things. Right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, fine. So this is all about the ID data type. Now let's come the data type. So name itself is showing like how which type of data you want to store, like date time, something like that. Okay.
Okay.
So it's allowed to store the date value. Each date field will be supported as a store the data value. Here you can see. Okay. If you have
Okay.
some date, so you can use data type, like let's say date. Okay, let's say date data type like dd equal to, you can store any date, like today date is 16 or 11 or 2021, something like that, right? So you can store this date under this data type and just go ahead and print into the debug log like dd. Okay, let's say dd here and execute this one. Okay, and just execute this one. So in legal string to date, here you can see. So how to do that? This is the string or this is the date. So how to store the date? Okay. So there is another way, like under the date class. Okay. If you don't know about these things like date class dot, if you write some like days or date of year, date between. So there are so many methods available here, right? Like this one, this method today. Here you can see like today. So this is the predefined method like date dot today. So you can fetch current date with the help of this date dot today method. So just execute and you can see the output here. Just debug only and you can see the today date, right?
Yes.
2021 here you can see, right? Because my org is the org time is different, so that's why it's showing me 15. So let's say if you want to change the org time, so always go this icon, this view profile, and go to the setting. Okay, under the setting you can see like advanced user detail. Just click this advanced user detail and you can see once you edit this one, like added. Okay, or let's say you can change this like language and time zone with the help of this one, right? So let me change this time zone as a Indian Standard Time, like Kolkata, Mumbai. Okay, so let me change this Indian IST time. Let me select this time like Asia specific or Indian specific maybe. So let me check one by one. Okay, here you can see these all things regarding the time zone. South Africa, Greenwich, Western Union, something like that, Greenwich, Central European time. And let me check the IST is available or not. Definitely it's available. So let me check this one again, Africa, Moscow,
I think
Arabian.
some Indian one. It gone actually.
Here,
Some Indian.
Indian
I'm sorry, hold
Indian
on.
tomorrow something is different, not particular. I just expect French, Western Pakistan, Western Moscow, Indian Standard Time. You can see like
Kolkata.
Indian Standard Time, Asia and Kolkata, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
you have to select this one, and also change this time zone as a India, not United States, right? Like English India, and just save it. And after that, here you can see saved successfully, and you can see my debug log. Just execute that code, like again execute this code, and you can see the output based on your time zone. Like here you can see this time is correct or not. You can see here
Yes, yes, yes.
2021, this is the year, 11 is month, and 16 is the day,
Date.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is for date. Same thing you can apply for time. Let's say you can see like time, it's allowed to store the time value in a 12 hours or 24 hours format, like railway time, like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, something like that. Or you can change the time as well as you want. So each time field will be reference the time data type, right? You can
Yeah.
store the date time both in a same place, like it's allow us to store the date time stamp value inside the variable. Each date time field will be referred date time data type by default. So please try yourself these all data type in your org, and please let me know if you are facing any problem or not in upcoming session or in this session as well, right?
Okay,
So
okay.
here you can see like long. This is the another data type like long. Okay, so it's allow us to store the larger integer value. Here you can see this is the solution of integer. Okay, integer range value like long. So it's allow the larger integer value without any decimal point. Each long data type variable will be occupy 8 byte. Here you can see, and range. So this like here you can see this is the range. Okay, so this is the solution of the integer. If you occupy more than memory comparison to integer, so always use long, right? Then we will move next decimal. So you can see like it's allow us to store the numerical value including decimal point. Here you can see, right? And each decimal data type variable will be occupy 8 byte memory. Like if you want to store some decimal point like 12.5, 12.50, something like that. So always use this decimal data type. Each currency field will refer the decimal data type by default only. So how to use that? So let me show you this one, like decimal, decimal. So how to use that? So always use like decimal. Okay, decimal, or we can say that like long, or just try to use decimal here. D equal to 12.45, right? And just print this one like system.debug, sorry, debug, and print this D here. Let's say it's working or not. So it's expected me unexpected this one.
Yeah,
So
semicolon
let's
should
okay,
be.
semicolon. Yeah. You are right. So always use semicolon each and every line. Okay.
Okay.
So here you can see the code is executed now, and just click this debug, and here you can see my output in line number 37, and here you can see 12.45, right?
Yeah.
This one. So you can store this type of value under the decimal, like some decimal value. Okay.
Okay.
So let me move another like decimal, and here you can see like double. Okay. So it's allowed to store the numerical value including decimal point. Okay, so you can combine the integer or you can combine the decimal under this data type. So it's allow to have more number of digit after the decimal like that. Okay, like 333, 3.1466, something like that. Each decimal data type will be occupied 12 bytes of memory. You can see. Okay, like that.
Okay.
Let me show you this one as well. Like if you want to write like double dd or triple d equal to some value like 123.444444 something like that, right? And if you want to print this one, so you can print like that double d and execute this one. Okay, then go here and debug only, and you can see my output in line number 41 and all the things, right? This one.
Yes.
Okay, so till now you have any query, question, or all clear?
No, I don't have any queries.
Okay, fine. That's great. So let's say open the blob. So here your blob data type, you can select binary large object. This is the full form blob. Okay.
Okay.
So it's allow us to store the binary content of an image, document, attachment file, audio, video. If you want to store these kind of data, so always use blob data type, right? And document object will be purely support the blob data type to store the content in the form of binary, like 0101 format, right?
Yes, yes.
Object, here you can see like object. So it is a generic data type which allow us to store any type of value. So always remember, you can store any type of value under this object. So this is the generic. And here you can see object is the base class of the programming, Apex programming. So this is the base class of the programming language object. Always remember, right? So let's say if you want to create some object, so you can create like object. Okay, let's say like object obj equal to, you can store any type of value like 1 2 3 4 here. You can print here like system.debug. Just remove this one and obj, and then execute this one, like execute. And now you can see the output. Just click the debug only and you can see 1 2 3 under the object data
Okay,
type,
I
right?
have one doubt. We use that object is used for that standard objects, S objects in
Mm-hmm.
Salesforce objects we use. Right? If
Mm-hmm.
if uh, if we use that object and if we use, I mean, we can get one. If suppose there is one account, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that account details can we get everything
Mm-hmm.
by using that S object. I mean,
Yeah,
this. I mean,
yeah. You can get something like that in upcoming video. You can see this one. So let me show you this. What exactly you are saying? Like, let me create an account, or let's say print some field. Let's say like account here. Okay, or we can say that list of account. I will show you. This is one list of account, ACC list equal to some SQL query, right? Like select ID, comma name, comma rating, comma
uh,
industry from the object, from account, something
yeah,
like that.
this can be done only through like using this list set map
Mm-hmm.
collections.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, but we
And
can't.
one,
But
yeah,
why
tell.
do we use? I understood this, but why do
Mm.
we use that object? Where we use particularly?
Okay, so basically you use the object means it's a generic. So if you don't know about which type of any
Hello,
external system or any third party API, okay,
hello, hello, hello.
if you don't know about the type of value. Hello.
Your voice is muffled. I could not
Okay,
able to.
okay, okay. So let's say, suppose that if you have some external services or external API, or we can say a third party API, and that response you don't know about which type of response is coming or not, right? So in that
Yes,
case
yes.
you have to use object. Okay,
Okay.
you don't know about the output, which type of output will be come from the external system, or we can say that any API. So always use object, because object accept any type of value like integer. You can store the string, boolean value, anything as you want under the object.
Okay. Okay.
Clear?
Yes, clear.
Right. So let's say I want to print this one, like ACC list here, and you can see the output. Just select this one. Okay, and here you can see another button like execute highlighted. If you want to execute some specific code, so just select this code here to here, right? Just expand this one here to here and just click on the execute highlighted, right?
Yes.
And you can see the output. Like just click this one and debug only, and you can see the all output like account ID, sample account, enterprise account, rating, Jenny point, rating called, industry, biotechnology, something like that. You can see all the output, right?
Okay. I mean, whole account, in account, what all the records is there, those everything can be seen there.
Yep. With the help of queries and some collections.
Okay. Now, suppose if I need a particular account only details, particular account details. Suppose if there is a Rohit, one record account is there. Only Rohit account details should be shown.
Yeah, so you can use where clause for filtering, like where
Okay.
name equal
Name
to
is equals
Rohit,
to.
something like
Okay.
Rohit. So
Okay.
it's showing me only one record. Let's say let me create one record as a Rohit under the account, so you can easily understand. Let me create one account like Rohit, right? Then
Okay.
rating hot, and phone number. You can put any phone number here, and type industry. You can see here like banking, and just save it. So I already created one account here, you can see, and just let's say execute this command. Okay, so execute here, and after some time you can see only one record. Here you can see this one. You can see only one record, right?
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah. Got it.
So you can use where clause. We will learn these all things in upcoming session, so don't worry about that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
for now we are good to go. If you have any question query, so you can ask me. Otherwise, we can wrap up.
No, I don't have any queries.